What's up, mortals? Alex here. Today, as you can see by the title of the video, will be a discussion on Gem Knight, a deck that recently picked up a lot of steam thanks to Phantom Quartz. This card is actually really good for the deck, and it's one of the main reasons why I decided to pick up the deck, even though I've always wanted to play Gem Knight. But the reason for this video today is not a deck profile. Like I said, it's more a discussion than a deck profile. Even though I will be showing you what I'm toying around with, just because I feel that this deck has a lot of potential, and it's one of the decks that I would like to take to YCS Atlanta coming up in 2 weeks. So I would like to know what you guys think of the deck. I have seen a lot of lists online that play a lot of different cards than the ones I played in my deck. Mainly the Plant Engine, which is the 3 Lone Fires, the 3 Scorpio, and the 1 Darlington Cobra. Even though that engine is really powerful, but it makes a lot of the cards in the deck that you play into garnets. What I mean is that you're already playing a deck filled with normal monsters, as you can see. Adding more bricks to the deck, no pun intended, by the way. Adding more bricks to the deck will just make it more inconsistent. And that's what I'm trying to fix with my list. I have tweaked it, I have played with it constantly to basically get it to a point where 90% of the time you will be FTKing, but at 10% of the time you will be breaking your opponent's board and attacking for a game instead of burning. Even though, again, you can still FTK, but it's not FTK all the time. And that's where I think a lot of people misunderstand the deck. That they think it's nothing but an FTK deck, which is not true. So today I will be going over the cards, the ratios, and why you would play them. In my personal list, I play 3 Armadillos. Yes, it doesn't have the Knight in quotes name, so it's not a Gem Knight card, but it is a Gem Knight card to the core, which lets you search any of the combo pieces that you will be missing from the hand to start and or finish your plays. Being a rock type and an earth monster attribute, matters so much, and I will explain why in a little bit. Some of the lists play 2 to 1, but I feel that maximizing on a card that lets you get another card, it's too good not to play the 3. So in my list, I decided to stick with 3. Even though I'm not playing any Xyz, I still decided to play 3, just because you want to see this card ASAP. The second play set of cards, Gem Knight Obsidian, in my opinion, is the best main deck Gem Knight monster, simply because it helps you extend your plays. If you open it with an Obsidian and or Brilliant Fusion, and our other monsters, I guess, but mainly Obsidian and Brilliant Fusion, you can do some crazy plays that generate an easy +5 to 6 cards, thanks to this guy and other cards, other extenders, of course. But I feel like you have to maximize on this guy, and the level matters as well, mainly because the Block Dragon is just chilling there, and I will get to that in a little bit. 3 Gem Knight Lasalai. Lasalai is my favorite Gem Knight. She is one of the other reasons why I picked up the deck. As you all know, I'm a World Chalice player, and I played Lasalai in my World Chalice. I kept drawing her, so I decided to just, what the hell, keep playing, pick up Gem Knights, in case if I draw her, I won't have to shoot myself every time. So that's one of the main reasons why I picked up the deck. So I feel that you have to play 3 of her. Because anytime she's sent to the graveyard by card effects, of course, you can fetch any of your normal monsters back to the hand, which is really good to keep the resources high and push for more damage. I feel like its level matters more in this deck than most people give it credit, mainly because of Block Dragon again. There are some combinations of cards that Block Dragon will let you search from your deck to your hand, and Lasalai is one of those cards that add up with the level. Basically, you go from 1, 3, 4 to equal 8, or 1, 3, I mean, 1, 3, 4. So basically lets you get anything that you need at that moment. So I feel that you have to maximize 3 of this. And this is basically the standard Gemini monsters that people play, 3 of each of these. And one of the more controversial picks in my deck is Tourmaline. One of the only level 4, actually the only level 4 normal monster that I play in my deck. I've been going back and forth between Tourmaline and Garnet. And I've been asking a lot of people online which one is the correct to play. Even though Garnet has 100 more attack, Garnet has 0 defense. This one has 1600 attack but has 1800 defense. Yes, a lot of the times you will not be attacking with these guys, but in a simplified game state, you might be. So that's why I keep going back and forth between Garnet, especially in a format where Spirals will probably not see as much play as they did before. I feel that Garnet it's irrelevant. And again, Trickstars will be very playable. So maybe Garnet it's the right way to go to beat over Candina. But again, if you're attacking with Garnet into a Candina, then you're probably losing the game. So I decided to stick with the 3 Tourmalines, mainly because of the fusion monsters that Tourmaline can summon. Prismora and Topaz are actually really good. They help you break boards and push for a game. So I decided to stick with 3 of these. Again, if you guys play Garnet, that's fine. I'm going to keep testing Tourmaline instead of Garnet. If I actually need to beat over more things with a Garnet, I will probably just add it back into the deck. More normal monsters. Let's break on them, right? But yes, Lapis. Lapis is a very key, crucial part of the deck. Her level, like I said, it's okay since Block Dragon can add any combinations of Lancelot and Armadillo with this if you're missing her. But she's here mainly because of Lady Lapis Lazuli, which is one of her materials for the FTK or do other things that you might need to do to break boards. Not much to say about her. She doesn't do much besides be a material for Lapis Lazuli. Some people play 3, which I think it's not correct. Playing 5 normal monsters is already not very good, especially when we're playing more normal quote-unquote monsters that they don't do much in your hand. So I decided to keep her at 2 just because I don't really want to break on more normal monsters. Even though having a lot of normal monsters or Gemini monsters in your hand, it's not bad since they let you make Venom Cords and he's really good. But you can't have a lot of normal summons or you won't be able to play, so I decided to keep it 3 to 2. Some people play 3 like I said it, but I don't. If it works for them, that's good. I don't think I'll play 3 anytime soon or later. So that's it for the Gemini monsters in the main deck. I guess for the last Gemini quote-unquote card, Crystal Rose. We all know what it does. If you don't know what it does, I can tell you. It's a level 2 rock light monster. So in theory, this is the only way to summon Seraphonite from those, or that Geminis can summon Seraphonite, since it's the only light Gemini card in the entire archetype. So it has 2 very key effects. One is that on the field, it lets you send any Gemini monster from your deck to the graveyard, or Melodious Diva. Well, we don't care about Melodious, so we'll stick to Gemini. So it sends any of them, it becomes its name, and its original effect becomes it. So it can be actually really good to copy one of the names for these guys, to summon one of the fusions that will be going over soon. So basically it becomes any Gemini that you might need, or to trigger Lasso Life from the deck, to get another plus, to get one of these guys, to fuse. But in the graveyard, it has a hard once per turn effect that lets you banish a fusion monster to special summon it back. So the second effect is not a once per turn, but the first effect is. So remember that. Very key card in the deck. Some people play 2, which is fine. 2, I guess, is good, but in a more like competitive scene, I don't think you want to be breaking with more than 1. So I decided to keep it at 1. And for the last, I guess, combo piece card of the deck, Block Dragon. This card is actually nuts. I have played it in a lot of rock decks in the past, and it was okay. because I guess I played it in Magnet Warriors, and it wasn't as good in there because the Magnet Warriors are level 3. But in this deck, again, that you have a lot of different targets that you can search with, this card becomes nuts. And most of your extra deck fusions are rock, which he provides a blanket protection for all of them. So this card is one of the best cards in the deck. I started playing at a 1, then I bumped it up to 2, and now that I want to see this card in my opening hand all the time, I play at 3. And another reason why I play it at 3 is because I am playing Pot of Desires, which I will get to that in a little bit. Oops, right there. So I decided to play the 3rd for many reasons. I don't want to banish all 3 with Desires. I want to open it I want to see it in my opening hand. If I have it in my opening hand and I have Brilliant Fusion, I wouldn't have to go for Zirconia and send it to the graveyard. I can send Crystal Rose to make Seraphonite and abuse 2 of my normal summons that I might need at that time. So I decided to play 3. I feel that 3 is fine. If it clogs as I keep play testing, I will cut it. But as of right now, again, the best card in the deck. 3 of, easy. For the only normal summon monster that you really want in your opening turn, it's Rabbit. Rabbit is the absolute nuts when you open it, especially if you have Rabbit and Gamma, but I will get to Gamma in a little bit. Rabbit is one card and start your engine and probably FTK your opponent if you have a decent combination of the cards next to it. So I feel that you will be not winning, or you'll be silly not to play these guys, and especially that it's a 3. Psh, so good. Enough said about Rabbit. For the hand traps and to round out the monsters, we lost Max C, but that's fine. I didn't even care about Max C. I'm glad that it's banned. But I am playing 6. I guess 7 if you think about Driver. But some people call me retarded. Tell me that I'm retarded online because I'm playing Gamma. And I'm not playing the Predaplan engine. Like I said earlier, the Predaplan engine, it's really strong when it goes off. But when it doesn't, you just sit there doing nothing. And you probably will get OTK by your opponent. So 2 main reasons. Well, actually there's a lot of reasons why. But the 2 main reasons why I play Gamma is because I always lose the die roll. And if I always lose the die roll, I want to be able to stop my opponent in some way. Since if I don't have Ash, and a lot of times Ash is not enough, I will have Gamma to stop my opponent's key play. And on my turn, it stops Ash Blossom. It used to stop Maxi, but again, it's not legal. Now it's mainly to stop Ash Blossom from going off. For example, if you need to resolve your Rescue Rabbit or your Brilliant Fusion, your Unexpected Dies, or your Monster Eve, or your Foolish Burial, your opponent Ash Blossoms, then you chain Gamma. You have 2 extra special summon monsters to count for the FTK, 2 beaters, and or a light attribute monster for Seraphonite. Because Seraphonite, again, requires a light monster. And the only other way to summon Seraphonite is by using Crystal Rose. And I happen to draw this card a lot, so I decided to stick the Gamma engine in the deck. Again, if you don't have access to Gammas, just wait for the reprint in the special edition. I feel that Gamma is too good not to play in the deck. Protecting your Rabbits and your Brilliant Fusions from Ash Blossom it's usually a game when it resolves. So I'm going to keep those for now. In Ash Blossom, I don't have to explain this card. You all know what it does. It negates 90% of the cards in the deck, in the game. So you'll be again silly not to play these unless you don't have access to them, which I understand. So that's it for the monsters. For the spells, 3 Gemini Fusion. It's the reason why the deck works. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play less than 3, but if you are playing less than 3, power to you. Phantom Chords can search it, so that might be a reason why. 3 of those. 3 Brilliant Fusions because it's game. When you see this card, you usually feel pretty good about yourself, especially when it resolves. That's what I mean when it's game, because if you have Brilliant Fusion and Gamma in your hand, you are 100% winning that game, because your opponent can't Ash Blossom this without fearing the Gamma. And people on my locals understand and know the fact that I play Gamma, so they usually let all my cards go off. And if they let this or Rabbit go off, they're probably losing. So 3 of those, 3 of each. You need to see 1 of these in your opening hand. And this is what's something that people don't understand. They tell me, oh, you can't FTK if you don't have the Predator Plane engine. You have to open so broken to win the game, which is not true. If you have Brilliant Fusion and any normal monster, I think it does, or Brilliant Fusion Unexpected Die, you can still FTK your opponent without having the God Hand. This deck actually is so consistent and so efficient at what it does that you just need 2 cards to like do a lot of damage. So because I want to keep it consistent and less bricky, I decided not to play the Predator Plane engine, which I will start talking about that now. 2 Unexpected Die instead of 3. 3 seems like too many, and 1 is not enough. You just want to open with this card. You want to have it enough in your hand, enough times in your hand to like actually summon Phantom Quartz. Even if you open Unexpected Die and a normal monster, you can still summon Phantom Quartz, fuse from the graveyard, and start your engine that way. So I figured that 2 is fine. For the one-offs, since we got Monster Reborn back and we've had Soul Charge, I decided to play both revival cards. Mainly because they help you combo off if your opponent hits you with every hand trap. But now it's 2, even 3 now with Gamma, you'll have backup. So 1 of each of these. I don't really have to explain Monster Reborn. It's legal, it's back, so I guess I'll play it. Foolish Burial, more copies of Block Dragon and Crystal Rose. A lot of the times you might want to send Last Light to the graveyard to get a free plus, which the normal monsters aren't really pluses, but they still help you combo off. So 1 of each of those. Again, if you open with Desires and Foolish, and you don't have access to Block Dragon, you might want to send it to the graveyard before activating Desires. And before anyone goes off on Ramble telling me that I'm bad for playing Desires, Desire is a +1, straight up +1. This deck is much like Spirals. You just need 2 Gem Knight monsters or Gem monsters on the field to go off. So maximizing your chances of getting to it early or more consistent, it's too good to pass. So I decided to play the one-off. Again, before you give me any crap for it, just test it out and see how it does. And for the last 2 cards of the deck, I am playing 2 Evenly Match. And these are not Twin Twisters, because Evenly Match is better than Twin Twisters, better than Dark Hole, Raigeki is better than any Kaiju. Like I stated, I lose my die rolls all the time. So having a card to ensure my FTK, quote unquote, goes intact, I'll take it. Evenly Match is too good not to play. And I am citing the 3rd, just to anyone that was asking. You'll never see it at 2. Wrong. I have Desires. I can deck in a lot and get to it. If I open with it, cool. If I don't, I didn't really need it in the first place. But that's it for the main deck. 42 cards. A lot of combo monsters. A lot of spells that let me get to things. But if you resolve 1 of these, you usually win the game. Again, 42. Let's move into the extra deck, which is the part that I've had the most trouble with. It's actually a little awkward and different than most people, I guess. Mainly because I've been wanting to try a lot of other concepts, I guess. But in this day and age, you just can't do that since the game is too fast. So for my list, I am playing 3 Master Diamond. Back then, people played the 1, which is understandable since the deck wasn't fast enough. It didn't really do much. But now I feel that 3 is needed. Especially if your opponent hits you with an Ogre early game, you're going to need the 3rd Master Diamond. Trust me on that. Plus, you use 2 to FTK your opponent, and just in case you fail to do that,
you'll have the third to copy any of the other Gemini monsters that you, for example, you might want to copy one of these guys and claim their effects. So 3 of those. One Lady Brilliant Diamond. She's very important to the deck. I started playing 2, but I quickly realized that you only really need the 1. I guess in a more dedicated Gemini list that doesn't play as many other cards by Geminites, you could play 2, but just the 1. She's really strong. I'll get to this guy later on. 2 Lady Lapis Lazuli, or Lady Lapis Lazuli, I guess. She is the reason why the deck works, in my opinion. Again, don't get me wrong. These 2 cards is why the deck works, but this guy makes everything work better. She burns your opponent. She can fuel the graveyard with any fusion for Master Diamond and Clayton. If it's effect, you can send any of those guys over there to trigger their effects. She's just really good overall. I don't think I would play 3 because that's just clock my extra deck, and I don't want to do that. For my fusion targets, for my Thunder Fusion or Tourmaline targets, I am playing 1 Prismora and 1 Topaz. I feel that Prismora is the best fusion in the extra deck, mainly because it deals with threats. It can clear face-up cards, and you can just go for a game with it. I was playing 2, but I feel the 1 it's fine. Topaz, it's weird because it has no attack value. It's only 1800, so it's getting over nothing. But on an empty field, it can do 3600 damage. But that's not why he's here. We rarely summon it. The reason why he's here is because Lady Lapis Lazuli can send any extra deck monster to the graveyard. So you can send a Topaz for Master Diamond to claim its effect. So instead of being 1800, it will be a 29 double swinger that can potentially end games on its own. So that's why he's here. And of course, you can fusion summon him regularly by using Tourmaline something else. So 2 of those, or 1 of each, I guess. Seraphonite, one that lots of people tell me that they never summon in the Gemini deck. And I would believe them, but at the same time, I don't think I would play the deck without this card in the extra deck, because you actually do summon it sometimes, or actually a lot of the times. And like I stated, it requires a light, and these are lights. So if you don't have a light monster and you have like a rabbit and a armadillo, you can like nut on your opponent because of you resolve Gamma. I'm sorry. So I feel that Seraphonite deserves a spot in the extra deck, and I will keep her there. For the last 2 fusions, I played 2 Zirconia, as most people call it, Big Dumbass. He's just here as a beater, and its requirements are actually really easy to meet. A Gemini and a rock. We have lots of rock monsters, and Block Dragon is rock, so if you manage to summon him that turn and fuse it away with it or link away, you can just get a +3 of that. So 2 of these because they're big. The 2900 stats actually really hard to pass. Some people tell me to play 1, but I think 1 is incorrect. So 2 of those for now. For the Link monsters, I am playing 1 Mrs. Radiant because all my guys get bigger. A lot of the times when you fail to FTK your opponent, you can just summon a Mrs. Radiant with double Master Diamond and beat them down with those 2 or 3 guys, I guess. Plus, she's a floater. When she dies, she adds a card back. I'm sorry. So 1 of these. And for the last 2 cards, 2 Phantom Chords. Again, this card is game. If it resolves successfully, you probably will win the game. Not gonna lie. Main reason why I'm playing the deck. This card is too good not to play. I wanted to play it at 3, and I was playing it at 3, which I might just go back to 3 if anything. I will probably cut a Master Diamond to play a third Phantom Chord, since he can summon Master Diamond from the banished pile, I guess, by fusion summoning. For the last card is True King of All Calamities. I have been playtesting a lot, like I stated, and a lot of times I fail to FTK or OTK my opponent in my third or first turn. I can just slap this down with 2 Master Diamonds and just tell them that it's over regardless, because I can next turn I can just burn him for game for the remainder. So I feel like this card has a spot and has earned a spot in the deck. Maybe I'll just drop it for the third Phantom Quartz, or for the third Lapis Lazuli, or for the second Prismora. But as of right now, it's been working out just fine. So that's it for the extra deck, 15 as always. I will not be showing the side deck because there's no need to. Again, still play testing, figuring out things, seeing if I am going to take this to Atlanta, which I really want to. Especially because a lot of people don't know about it. Yeah, they are catching up, but it's not doing enough for everyone to know. And that's the main reason why I want to take it. This is a price element. And hopefully do well. Again, before you guys type any mean comments in the description about not playing the Prairie Plan engine because the best engine is the only way, it's not true. If you focus the deck, or if you make the deck just to FTK your opponent, you're not going to be successful. Yeah, you're probably going to sack your opponent now and then, but you're relying on the Orphis Scorpio to resolve. Maybe you're playing at a locals or a meta that doesn't have Ash Blossoms or Gammas. And I understand why you're just telling me that Orphis Scorpio is a god card, which in theory, if it resolves, it is, because it wins you the game. But if you play that, you're going to be breaking more. You're going to have to play 7 other cards in your main deck and cut like protection, like the hand traps and other consistency cards. You're going to have to add a lot of bad cards to the extra deck, like Invoker and Gaia Saver. That's just not good. So again, before you go down in the comment section below and tell me that I suck for not playing the Plan engine, think about it. Just stop and think. Do I really want to make my deck just to FTK my opponent when I can actually attempt to FTK if my hand is good enough, which again, 2 cards FTK, or I can just do some heavy damage and then burn them for the remainder of their life points. I think that's the best way to go about this deck. Solely FTK, it's not going to be successful. It's not going to get you far. And like I stated, I've seen so much content on the deck in the past few weeks that I have understand. I didn't know much about the deck before I picked it up a few weeks ago. And now I feel like I know so much more than regular people because I play my decks in a competitive environment. I take them to the best locals that I can, and I test them against the better players that I know. And that is why you see a lot of my decks are very streamlined, very simple and effective because of my mentality. Again, yes, if the Prairie Plan engine has been working out for you, great, I'm happy. But give my list a chance, and I am telling you, you will enjoy the results because it's really consistent, it's really good. Anything else that you guys would want to share with me? If I'm missing something, of course, let me know, and I will gladly reply to you ASAP. I will be updating you guys on how I do with the deck later, and I will probably get some duels with this because I really want to get some duels with this deck. Again, thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, again, thank you. Couldn't ask for more. Check out my channel for other videos like this, more deck profiles, and possible duels. Yeah. Alex out. Peace.